Join me on an exhilarating journey as I revisit my very first side-by-side or UTV off-road adventure, driving a brand new Segway Villain at Sycamore Creek. That's just east of Phoenix, Arizona. Now, it's been 16 months since my first ride, so let's take a look at that first adventure through the eyes of a more experienced driver. That's me, if you didn't catch that. I'll share thrilling moments, valuable tips that I wished I knew on that first ride, and the sheer joy of off-roading. Heart-pounding climbs to breathtaking views, this video has it all. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned pro, there's something for everyone in here. This video may even bring back memories of your first ride. At a minimum, I think you will manage to get a laugh or two. In late January of 24, we purchased my first side-by-side or UTV, the Segway Villain. Now, this is an amazing machine with so much value for so little money. But the first thing I had to do was make my best guess on essential accessories. Then I needed someone to ride with us for safety. Hopefully someone with experience and a willingness to share. Keep in mind, I've never driven a side-by-side before and barely even understood the basics of the controls at this point. As luck would have it, we got a new neighbor, Larry. Not to be confused with my friend Larry who drives a Villain that you've seen in many videos. This Larry owns a Razor. He's been riding for years with his friends, and they invited me to come along for an adventure in Sycamore Creek. At the time, I had no idea what I was getting into or the location. I was both excited and apprehensive. My wife, Robin, agreed to come along. She's been trying to get me to get this machine dirty since the day I brought it home. Even though this is a sport that's guaranteed to make your machine very dirty, I spent hours making it sparkle, so I wasn't interested in 5 minutes of dirt alongside a paved road. I wanted a real adventure that would make cleaning it worth the effort. At this point, I didn't know how to find places to ride or how to use a GPS program like onX Off-Road to map out a route. I did learn how to record a route during a ride before we took off. That way, our first adventure, I could capture all the details and do this ride again with somebody else. Well, when I looked back today, I realized I've ridden many of these trails since, but was amazed that some of my recently newly discovered trails were part of this ride just in the opposite direction. You see, as I learned how to use onX, I forgot to see if I was following the entire original path. I thought I had it memorized. Well, it turned out I didn't. I missed a bunch. Anyway, Sycamore Creek has many trails with difficulty ratings from 1 to 10 out of 10. I think 10 means you're probably going to die. It's a great training ground. I'll tell you later in the video how to find the details so you can try out this ride for yourself. Leave a comment if you've ridden any of it. Let me know if you think this was a good course for a beginner's first ride. That was me. If you're a beginner, would you try it? So we hung a left out of the parking lot onto this big wide dirt road, and just moments later we hung a left onto another reasonably sized dirt road. And this is where the fun really began. And I was also told when you come to an intersection, you stop and you wait for the person behind you so they know you've turned. You take off and they wait for the person behind them, and so on. That way nobody gets lost. Now, I didn't know what kind of abuse the Villain could take on a dirt road that was kind of rough, but I'm about to find out as time goes by. So in the beginning, I'm super careful, picking my path, doing my best to dodge any and all obstacles, no matter how minor. Larry and his friends have me wedged in between them so they can keep an eye on us and make sure that we are safe. And I'm sure they were having a lot of fun watching my trepidation. You notice how I slowed down for this little rut in the road? Today, I definitely wouldn't hit it hard, but I wouldn't be this slow. Even now, I remember how Robin and I were looking at this narrow trail up on a ridge. You could fall off, get hurt, go rolling down. We had all kinds of things going through our brain of possible catastrophes. Today I go through this pretty fast. I'm not going to tell you how fast because I never look. I'm too busy trying not to fall off the edge and die. We were both enjoying the scenery as I was getting more familiar with how the Villain handles off-road trails. Now, this is late February of 24, and we had a pretty wet winter, so there was a lot of greenery out here, ocotillo in bloom. Um, it was just lush, which also means water in the creek. I'd love to see that again. So I'm going to turn the volume up here in a moment so you can hear the actual engine, and you'll hear a high whirring sound. At this point, I did not know anything about two-pedal driving. So when you're going downhill, if you don't manage to keep the RPMs to the engine matched to your actual rotation of the clutch, it will disengage. And you'll hear this high-pitched sound, and it's like you're in neutral. There is no engine braking. And if you continue to use that, you'll be riding the brakes and wearing them out very quickly. So this little hole was definitely a butt-puckering experience for us. Well, in the 16 months since, the hole has just gotten bigger, and now it is a lot of fun in either direction. Once we got to the top of Widowmaker, or the slots, everybody just shot straight down one of those slots. Robin and I are looking at the width. Those guys in front of us are 64 inches wide, we're 72, and we're pretty certain that we're going to get hung up somewhere down there and just get wedged. Well, we kept going, butt puckering the whole way, and guess what? We didn't get stuck. There's plenty of room. Of course, since they went down so much faster than we did, we're looking at all these turns to the left, go straight. We had no idea which way they went, but the road was slightly damp, so for the most part, I think we went the right way. Looking in the video, I can see near the end, I see tracks going off to the left, so I may have not gone down the same slot they did. But anyway, here we go, butt puckering the whole way. As we near the bottom, we're both relieved that we didn't get wedged, no accidents, we didn't die. We're actually having a good time, although a little freaked out here and there. And all of a sudden, everybody turns around and zips right back up. Now, keep in mind, we do not have a radio of any kind at this point. There's no cell reception. We're at the bottom. They're gone. Now what do? We hung out at the bottom thinking maybe they would come back down and we wouldn't have to climb up that face. Well, they did not. And Larry later told me that the safe thing is you come down, someone goes up, nobody comes down until everybody is up. That way there's no head-on collisions. In the meantime, Rob and I circled around, tried to figure out what we were going to do, finally decided we were on our own, and we had no choice. We had to go up this hill. I don't care how scary it looked. She closed her eyes, at least I think she did. I leaned forward, hanging onto the steering wheel for dear life, hoping I wouldn't turn over backwards, and continuing to remind myself they didn't turn over backwards. Why would I? Oh well, here we go. We finally made it safely back to the top to find everyone waiting for us, wondering what took us so long. Well, now that we're here, it's time to continue on. Well, there were a few more butt-puckering descents and climbs, and pretty soon we were out at the creek. And as I said, this was a fairly wet winter. There was water in the creek. Since I'm new, I'm being nervous about the water. You know, how deep can I get? How muddy is it? Am I going to get stuck, drowned, whatever? Robin, meanwhile, sees water. She loves water. Her encouragement was step on it and look for the deep stuff. Let's get wet. Well, I was a little shy to that. It took me a while to warm up to it. As we continued on up the creek, I got more and more comfortable with the water. And then it was time to leave the water. Now, this is the part where I didn't realize until looking at the map today. I had been exiting the creek at the wrong exit. That's why I never saw the stuff that we're about to see. We didn't get very far away from the water before Larry stopped to make a right turn and asked if we were feeling okay. He says, this trail, there's nowhere to turn around. So if you don't want to try it, You better check it out now. Well, that's not exactly what he said, but that was the implication. We said, let's go. Of course, after we said, let's go, the trail got more narrow up on a ridge with drop-offs, off camber, ups and downs. The brush came in. It got really exciting, especially for a new couple like us. But yes, it was fun, just butt-puckering fun. Fortunately, we did have the warm-up before we got to this point. I don't know that I could have handled this trail right out of the parking lot. Even now, I remember I was pretty tense. Robin was having questions. We were enjoying it, but oh my. And of course, you can hear the clutch is disengaged because I did not know how to handle two-pedal driving. It was very frustrating on almost every downhill because of that. I have to say, the first time I was editing this video right after the ride, I was questioning, was Larry trying to help us improve our skills, or was he trying to kill us? Well, he wasn't trying to kill us. And you can see he is constantly checking to make sure we're still there and that we're okay. I really appreciate Larry's help on this. See, even little spots in the road like this were making us both nervous, especially when you look and you see an edge. Wouldn't faze us a bit at this point. So remember, Larry told us there's no turnaround up here. So no matter how we were feeling, safe, unsafe, freaked out, it didn't matter. You got to keep going forward. And Larry keeps stopping to make sure that we're okay. Thanks, Larry. Look at the scenery. It's like we're in a movie. I think this is when I really started to appreciate where I lived. Now, I've recently done this specific trail in the opposite direction a couple of times in the last few months. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this trail. But remember, that's after 14, 15, 16 months, not day one. That trail marker says 3470. And if you go and watch the video I did last Friday, where I was testing Main Street Cycle's ECU upgrade tune for my engine control unit, we turned in a different direction, which we just bypassed on this ride. And I thought that was going to be a nice, easy downhill trail. No, there's a two-step waterfall down there. I don't know if this is why Larry brought us this way, or if he even knows about that waterfall, but I sure do now. I cannot tell you how much butt puckering was going on this ride. Whereas now I go through here and I'm having a blast. So if you are new at off-roading and you're encountering stuff that is making you question, just keep going, increase your skills. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun in the not too distant future. If you're still hearing that high-pitched whine where the clutch is disengaged, this is just a great reminder. Work on your two-pedal driving. Hit the brakes, get it slow before you start downhill, whatever speed you want to be. While still holding the brake, tap the gas pedal, push it down gently until you can feel it engaged. Maybe back off just a hair, but keep it engaged, let off the brake, maintain that amount of gas, and you should go down the hill nice and slow at whatever pace you set it. It is so important to learn this. It took me a lot of practice to get to where I'm pretty decent at it now. Every now and then I still screw up, but I am way more comfortable now. If you want more details about any of my videos, in the description beneath the video, there's the word more. Click on it, it will expand out. There is a ton of information down there, including which trail we're on, turn left, turn right, all that kind of info. On a TV, just use your remote control with the up arrow. That should light up the subscribe button. Click on the right arrow. It should take you over to that big white box where I have highlighted learn more about this video. And then use your OK button in the center of those controls. And that should bring you into the description area. You will find so much info here you won't believe it. This is definitely Robin's favorite part of the whole ride, and probably the only reason she was willing to come back out and try it again. And she still comes out, just not very frequently. She has a very busy retirement life at this point. But sometimes she'll come out, shoot video with the camera. Always appreciate her coming along. At this point, she is definitely telling me to head into the water with speed and get us wet, and soon she'll be telling me to get everybody else wet. It's a day in the water for Robin. It took me a while, but I'm starting to get comfortable driving in the water, realizing I'm not going to hit a rock and rip a wheel off. These guys are only playing where it's pretty safe. They know the area, and they definitely know how to sneak up and get people wet. This is fun. But to splash them, this is all about getting wet. Listen to Robin having fun. They have set themselves up. It's time for me to see if I can get somebody really wet. Here goes. So after splashing them, I try to get myself turned around real quick by pulling up and backing up. That was a mistake. The Villain shifting is still super stiff. It's a brand new machine, and that just seems to be normal for the Villain. So I'm not going to get turned around and out of the way in time. But Robin's still going to enjoy it. She's going to get drenched. Wasn't done getting us to have butt puckering experiences. So instead of going back up the Widowmaker the way we came down, here's another hill that looks a bit like Widowmaker and another way to climb up a slot. Up we went. Robin got concerned, thought I should go slower, and at this point in skills, almost none, I felt like if I didn't go fast enough, I was just going to get stuck, and that would not be good. So we continued on at a pace that I felt might be safe. Turned out it was. We made it to the top. Larry hung a right, and you can see as we go off into the distance, that's the top of Widowmaker, just coming at it from a different angle. And from there we just went back the same way we came in. So I guess the real story here is 16 months ago I had no idea how to do anything. I wasn't sure if anything was going to work. I wasn't even sure if we were going to have fun or just be scared to death and go sell the machine. We've had a blast, and I continue to have a blast, and sometimes Robin comes along with me and has a blast, but even when she doesn't come, she watches my videos and she's having fun doing that. Well, I hope this encouraged you to buy a side-by-side if you don't have one. If you have one and you're new, I hope you get out there and start having fun with it. If you learned something for this video or just it made you laugh, the only other thing I can ask is please subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching.